Hi, I'm Dominic Knight. Welcome to another series of Dominic Unfiltered. Today is a topic which I'm going to speak about, which I get a lot of questions about, which is looksmaxxing and, improving the way one looks, improving the physique, optimizing every area of one's life, improving how you eat and what you do and how you look, which is all really great. However, there is a side of it which a lot of people don't understand, and you can optimize and maximize your looks. However, it can end up with one being less attractive. Now, you're probably thinking, well, how is that possible? If someone's features are suddenly improved, how are they less attractive? Well, really quite simply this. The way the human body works and the way our nervous system works, if we are looking for validation from another person, it devalues us and it elevates the other person. If someone does all the looksmaxxing protocols in the world and really improves how they are, and they're attempting to impress another person or use that to show that there's something else, others will be repelled by that. That's a scientific fact. There's a massive, complete difference from physical beauty and attraction. They're completely separate fields. Now, a person can only be so beautiful. They can only have so much beauty. However, attraction is pretty much unlimited. I'm all for working out, optimizing how one looks, how one dresses, if it really makes you feel good and that's who you are, but you're not doing that as a mechanism to try and attain approval from another person, then it's great. It will amplify how you look, how you carry yourself through the world. Growing up in the 80s, I was a huge fan of bodybuilding and the aesthetics of the likes of Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone, all the way to now you see people with phenomenal physiques. I think it's really great. As long as it doesn't eclipse one's life, it's just part of what you do, that's brilliant. So when it comes down to looksmaxxing, if one is to use particular protocols or you use biohacking or you want to reverse your age, that's all brilliant. But using all that, not in a way to gain approval or validation from another person, is key. So not only will you elevate your looks, but you'll elevate how attractive you are as a person. That holds true for both men and women. Yeah, years ago, I started dating this she was a mathematics student. She had absolute brilliant mind and she was so into her fashion, absolutely beautiful as well. And she would break all the rules of fashion. What she would wear on most people would not work. However, what she put together, everyone gravitated towards her. Why? Because she owned it. Now, if she put clothes together and was insecure about what she was doing and she was trying to put her clothes together in a particular way, it would have come across awkward. Right? For a guy, if he's wearing his stuff, whatever it is, and he's owning that, that's who he is unapologetically, then he will attract attention to that. However, understand as well, it was a quote by Oscar Wilde, which is really brilliant. Like, one can never be overdressed or overeducated. Really great quote. Why? Because if you've put your stuff together and you feel good about who you are, but you're not putting stuff together in order to elevate yourself and minimize others because you're so great. No, it's genuinely who you are. When you're authentic, then you will absolutely attract the right type of attention, but that's who you are. And you're not even attention seeking. It becomes a natural byproduct of that. When anything is contrived, or I'm going to do this to attempt to get that outcome, I'm going to do this to try and attract or try and get a person's approval, it doesn't work. It disappears right away. You must be authentic. Now, here's the thing. When one thinks, well, I need to look X amount of weight, no, you need to own who you are as a person. You need to optimize what you're doing for yourself, and then you create true attraction. If you genuinely own who you are and your frame is unapologetically strong, subconsciously people pick up on that. That's why a person, there's a person I know who kind of fits that bill. I was out one evening in, I won't name the place, but it was a particular members club in just off of Mount Street. Now this guy is not, it's kind of let himself go, is a bit overweight here or there. His clothes are not really put together so well, but he doesn't care. He's unapologetically himself. He's driven. He's had great success in the past and in the present with what he's doing, but he doesn't lead with any of that. He knows who he is. What happens when we're out? Women and men as well, they kind of like gravitate towards him, even though they don't know who he is. Why? Now, if it was the opposite, let's say, for example, he was leaning on, look at what I've done, look at who I am. If he's doing all of that, start repelling people, right? Now, I think everyone should, do their best. Dress the way you want, optimize. But dress for the occasion. I'm 100% for that. Dress for the occasion, right? But don't lean on any of that at the same time. When you do that, you're able to create real connections because it's all done at an unconscious level, whether you know it or not. People can talk all day long about vibe. In fact, in my book, Endgamers, I touch upon this. I touch upon this thing of vibe. When you feel great about who you are, right? Your energy, your vibe, it's real. We have mirror neurons. Our nervous systems synchronize. Pheromones are secreted. Now, what happens is the brain interprets that scent, not consciously, unconsciously, as an attractant. So people are attracted to you. Now, here's the thing. If a person's stressed, what are they emitting? Stress hormones. They're repelling others. So when you feel good about who you are internally, guess what? You become extremely attractive and people gravitate towards you. I'll be breaking down this phenomena in later videos, so stay tuned in how you can really optimize yourself. So when we look at Looksmaxxing or value signaling, let's say someone wants to attract the person of their dreams. So they improve the way they look and they do everything they can to have X amount of money. Let's say they're making millions. What will happen predictably 99% of the time, they will be able to gather a level of attraction and then it will quickly fizzle out. Why? Because if a person is leaning on that, the person they're attempting to impress feels that that person needs validation. They're not enough. So because they need validation, they are leaning on all those toys and those looks. So what happens, they get the instant attraction and then it just disappears. In order to really cultivate deep, meaningful connections and to become attractive in a way where you entice and bring into your world the person of your dreams, is not about the outside looking for validation. It genuinely is being completely confident and comfortable with who you are as a person, not leaning on anything else. Because here's the thing, if you are leaning on the car that you're driving, let's say you have a supercar or an incredible watch, but you're leaning on that, subconsciously the other person picks up on that. Outside of attracting a person who only wants you for wealth, you're not going to attract a real person. And here's the thing, you'll find a lot of guys out there will say, well, I will never know if she wants me for who I am, and she's just after the money. The reason why that's complete nonsense and complete bullshit is this. If you're leaning in on your wealth and you're projecting that and you're pushing that in a person's face, what else have you got? Nothing. You will only attract people who are attracted to those surface level things. If you're not leaning on any of that whatsoever, and you're completely competent and confident, and you've got this self-belief in who you are as a person, the vision that you've got, the direction you have in life, then you can attract anyone that you want. And that's an absolute fact. In further videos, I'll be breaking down steps for enhancing how you feel about who you are and how that creates this real, true stealth attraction. Stealth attraction isn't about like showing to the world what you have. It's like embodying who you are as a person, knowing your self-worth, and other people resonate with that. The reason they resonate with that is because of something called, which I touched upon in previous videos, mirror neurons. Whatever you feel about yourself, others feel about you. If you feel inadequate, other people will sense that eventually. If you feel adequate within who you are and you know that you're destined for greatness, guess what? Other people pick up on that. Anyway, that's it for today's session, and we'll be speaking more in future videos.